Hey guys, my name's Shane, and today I'm going to be sharing my coming out experience. Something that I've been watching a lot of lately and reading a lot about lately. And I see all these videos and read all these stories, and I think everybody that shares a coming out experience helps towards making a difference. So that's what I'm here to hopefully try and achieve today. Now, the world is a very scary place for somebody that's, well, not exactly closeted, because that's the wrong word to use, but somebody who either knows what they are but too scared to say anything, or is still trying to figure out and feels that it's better to do so alone, trying to figure themselves out. Now, I've been quite lucky. I'm not going to lie, I have been quite lucky. I knew at a young age, and instead of doing it then, coming out, I waited 4 years because I was trying to build up the courage to be able to, go to my parents and say, look, this is this is who I am. This is the way I'm going to be living my life. Anyway, so the world is a very scary place for somebody that's suffering in silence, and nobody should ever suffer in silence. I'm sure there's a lot of people that did suffer in silence before they came to terms with it and just accepted the fact that this is who they are. It's now time to move on in life and book up the courage to tell your parents, foster parents, carer, guardian, and whoever it is that's looking after you. And so today I'm talking about the experience that I had. Now, I was, as previously stated, I was quite lucky with the way it happened for me. I knew at a very young age, and I waited until I was 18 before I went ahead and told somebody. Now, when I was 18, and I decided that this is the way it is. This is my life. I was still too scared to go to my mum and tell my mum so that I was gay. Now, I told my friends first. I'm not gonna lie, I told my friend because I was at college, and I guess they always knew, or they had some sort of inkling. Because when I sat them down and I told them, they just turned around to me. They says, "This is as true as it is." They turned around to me and says, "We already knew. Do we like you any less? No. We'll always be there for you, and we will always support you. It's your decision, and we're here to live that journey with you and help you to overcome the fear, sort of thing." So I can't thank my friends enough for that, because that meant an absolute it it was just, I don't know, it left me speechless because I wasn't expecting them to react that way, because back then the world was still kind of sketchy and shady about the whole idea of same um, same sex getting into a relationship and that sort of thing. And honest to God, it it left me absolutely speechless. And I've always been grateful to my friends for that, because they didn't have to stick by me and they did. And that, at that time, that was very hard to come by in friends. Um, and because they accepted me straight away and supported me straight away, that gave me the courage then to be able to work on coming out to my family. Now I remember I'd been at college and I was on a late college um, period, and I went home that night. I got in and I got took my stuff off and sat down and got a drink and everything, and I was just sat there in the room with, there was me, my mum, my sister, and I was just sat there. I mean, they was having their own little conversation, and I weren't really engaging in the conversation much, because in my head it was going around like, how do I say this? At what point do I say this? Is this gonna change my relationship with my mum for the rest of my life? Is she gonna is she gonna disown me? Is she gonna not ever want to speak to me again? Is she gonna kick me out right there and then? So, and I guess obviously parents being parents, whatever, they know when there's something wrong with you or when you're going through a rough time. It's just that instinct that they have, I guess. Um, and I remember we were just sat there, and mum just looked at me and she goes, "Shane, is everything alright?" So like, still thinking about it, just like, yeah, everything's fine. I'm just tired. It's been a hard day at college, and you know how it is. And she goes, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, honestly, that's all it is." Anyway, about an hour had passed, and she asked me the same question again, but this time, because I used to get bullied for it a lot in school as well, which didn't make it any better for later on in life. So anyway, an hour had passed, and she turned around to me. She goes, "Are you sure everything is all right?" I said, "Yeah, why wouldn't it be?" Um, and she just looked at me and she says, "I can tell." She says, "You've been tired many a times before when you've come in from college, and you've still got involved in conversation. You've had a laugh, but tonight," she said, you just sat there and not engaging, not really, you're not saying anything at all." And I says, "Well," says, "No, I'm fine." So I got up and I went into the kitchen and did what I went to do in the kitchen. And then I came back and she turned around to me. She says, "Come and sit over here next to me." She says, "Whatever it is that's going off, you need to tell me, because I can't help you or support you or give you advice if you don't tell me what's wrong. And one of the most ironic things about that night too was she, she, she turned around to me, she goes, "Are you having girlfriend problems?" I was like, "Mum, seriously?" She's like, well, I don't know. You're not telling me nothing, so I'm having to guess. Anyway, so I just sat there and sat there, and by this point I was almost at the verge of ready to tell her. And she's there still questioning me, trying to get it out of me, and I remember I just looked at her, and I threw my arms around her, and I just burst into tears. When I look at it now, I'm just like, really, really. But back then, it was scary, and it really, really is. So yeah, I'm just there, and I'm completely like, I'm a mess, and I'm just distraught. So she's there comforting me and everything, and when it eventually calmed down, and she turned around to me, she goes, "I knew there was something wrong with you. What is it?" And and I just looked at her, and Ash went, "Mum, I'm gay," just like that. And and that were it, because I'd eventually done it. I had complete mixed emotions. I was sad because I'd kept it in for so long, and I was distraught. But yeah, at the same time, I was absolutely overjoyed at the fact that I'd taken that step and I'd gone ahead, and I'd eventually come out to two people in my family. It was my mum and my sister, so it was a lot harder than what it normally is when you just normally have that sort of conversation. Normally you sit there with your mum and dad or whatever, but I sat there, and other people have sat there with different people, but I sat there with my mum and my sister. And she turned around to me, she goes, "Why didn't you just tell me?" And I turned around to her and I goes, "I'm sorry." She says, "What are you sorry for?" I says, "I've let you down." And she goes, "What do you mean you've let me down?" I says, "Well, I'm not I'm not straight, I'm gay." She turned around to me, she goes, "Shane, it doesn't matter to me what or who you are still my son, and you'll always be my son, and I'll always love you, and I'll always support you through whatever decision you make in life, and it can't have been easy for you keeping that in all this time." So the conversation was going on and on and on. She was finding all the information out. How long have I known? When did I first truly realise? And I remember halfway through his conversation, I, I remember looking at my sister, face all wet through with tears, and she threw her arms around me. My sister, she threw her arms around me, and she gave me a big cuddle. And I just turned around to her and I says, Kelly, I'm sorry. This is my sister. She turned around to me, she goes, don't be sorry. I'm your sister, I'm here to support you. And it makes no difference to me what you are, or who you like, or anything like that. You're my brother, and you'll always be my brother. Now, that to me it weren't the reaction I was expecting. I was expecting them to obviously like, oh, you're this, you're that, you're other. We're kicking you out. We don't want you anywhere near us anymore. But they didn't. They was really, really, really supportive. And again, with them, I can't thank them enough for the amount of support, and they've gone well above 100% support over the last 5 years, since the very first time I came out. And when you've got a family that's like that, I guess I was lucky. I'm a lucky one. When you've got a family that accepts it like that and gives a reaction like that, it makes you feel a million times better once you've eventually come out and told them. And I am not kidding you, that night I went to bed and I slept like a baby, probably because I'd been crying, but not just that. At the same time, to me it felt like a massive weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It was a burden that I could no longer keep carrying, and I needed to get it off my chest. Now, that being said, I was still too scared to tell other members of my family. So I just got my mum to do it for me. I mean, obviously I was there when she told them, but I was still a bit too, because it was still all new to me, so I was still cagey and a bit too held back to be able to come out to the rest of my family. But the way I saw it, or the way I should have seen it, is, well, I've done the hardest thing, coming out to my parents, my mum. That was the hardest thing for me. I had to, and my dad. But I'd taken that step. I'd jumped over that hurdle. I'd run that racetrack now. That were it. It was all over for me. It was about moving upwards, onwards and upwards for me from that point. And yeah, fair enough. It's still been quite the battle. I'm not going to lie, because the world. I mean, it's a lot more accepting now, but then it weren't. It was still all like strange to everybody, and people couldn't quite get their heads around it. And it should never, ever, ever have been like that, ever. Love is love, and it doesn't matter if you're two girls, two boys, a guy and a girl, or whatever. If you genuinely love that person, then why in the world should it matter to what anybody else thinks? And you know what, I get that it's hard to try and deal with all at the same time, but honestly, it was the best thing that I ever did. Best decision I ever made in my life. And when that weight was lifted off my shoulders, oh, I could sit here. I can sit here and try to explain to you how it felt, but it wouldn't matter how much I sat here and told you how it felt. There is no better feeling than being there in the moment and feeling it. So that was my experience. I get everybody has a different experience. Some good, some bad, some average. The reactions, we always think of the worst reaction possible, and some people, some people do get the worst reaction you could possibly ever imagine. But there's one thing that is definitely true. As I said, it does get better. It definitely gets better. 100% honest and certain with you. Over 100% honest and certain. It does get better. And there's no need to suffer in silence anymore. You've got to be able to take that leap. And yeah, you are gonna be subconsciously in the back of your mind thinking, oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What's everybody gonna say? What if this happens? What if that happens? But it is the best feeling you could ever imagine, and there is people out there that can support you. You've got groups now that you can go to for support. If there is always going to be somebody that you can talk to first, whether it be a teacher, a lecturer, a grandparent, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, anybody. There will be somebody, even your friends, there will be somebody that is there to help you and support you through the rocky road. Even if it means just telling somebody that you trust completely 100%, just for them to give you that kick up the backside and tell you, right, come on, we're doing this now, we're going to have you living a happy life. And you know what, it's not an easy life to, there's still things. A relationship is a relationship, and you're going to have arguments, fall out, you're going to break up, get back together, and all the rest of it, just like you are any other relationship. That's just that's just pros and cons of a relationship. It happens. But don't feel like you have to suffer in silence anymore. The world is changing, and people are becoming more and more accepted to it. Because even some of the older generation are now becoming accepting to it, because there's not a thing that anybody can possibly say. It's love is love, and that is all it boils down to. Love is love, and as long as you love them and they love you, it doesn't matter who in this world it is, whether it's another girl or another boy or whatever. It makes no difference. Got to be who you are, not who they want you to be. Because that will just end up tearing you apart, and it'll put you further and further in a deep dark hole. So I hope that helps. And you can leave comments in the bottom underneath the video, right about here. If you need advice or things like that, I'll reply as soon as I can. It's an ever-changing world, and we are in it together. Everybody's in it together, and together we can make this work. You just need to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and think, this is me, this is who I am. I'm not going to be who they want me to be. I'm going to be who I want to be, who I am, who I'm meant to be. So again, thank you very much for watching. Please comment your comments underneath if you need any advice or extra support. Thank you very much.